We're live.
We're live for us. I mean, we're recorded for everybody else, and
That's right.
people may mistake, the sound of Jessica's voice. It sounds a little different this week.
Hello.
We usually have, kind of a cold open where we're maybe mid conversation. Lately, we've been in a lot of hotels, which is kind of fun.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're back on the porch. At least I am. We're doing a remote recording of sort of what's usually our mid episode conversation with Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica is very busy right now, and instead of being one more thing on her plate to have a conversation with me for the podcast, we decided that the conversation that you got to listen to this week with our special guests was so good and honestly so long that it actually sort of made sense to have that be kind of its standalone episode. And so with this very long wind-up, let me reintroduce Mr. Wesley Luttrell of the Nectar Podcasts, our gracious producer and sometimes co-host.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, man. It's just I feel like we were texting earlier about it, and instead of forcing something that didn't feel right, or if it was like, hey, I feel like this is this Briley and Jared conversation with the people from JB's Barnyard, the ice cream people. I just thought, man, they're like, they were so spirited and so excited to be on the podcast with you and Jessica. Yeah. I felt such like kindred spirits between two fellow entrepreneur married people that it was just exciting. So my wife Chloe and I listened to it last night on the way home from Owensboro, and right away I was just struck by their energy and their, I want to call it like a pure passion. Like it feels like a pure passion. And it feels like me and you have been saying this, slow is steady, steady is fast.
Yeah. Slow is smooth. You've been calling it steady. See, we've already, this is like the telephone game, you get something and you put your little spin on it. So I like that. So slow is steady, steady is fast. For me, it's about smooth.
Smooth and steady. That's where I got that one confused. But yeah, okay. They've been going smoothly, I think, over the last, since they founded it. I think it was in 2020.
Yeah, I think so.
Which resonates with me starting my record label in 2020, but it just the way that it feels very linear, their progression, but it also feels like they're moving at just a nice pace. Like I was excited to hear at the end of the podcast they have like 12 employees or something. During their busy season,
they're growing and seems to be growing in a sustainable way, which is everyone's journey is a little bit different, but we definitely did sort of sense something with them, right away meeting them. It was, we've definitely had opportunities to have different kinds of partnerships. And, like we had last time with the Perla Petite folks, like that's gone really well. And we sort of knew their product really before we got to know them. Yeah. And their product was just phenomenal. And then we got to know them and really liked them and have enjoyed continuing to work with them since then. But with the JB's folks, it was actually the other way around, to where just sort of getting to know them and exploring a potential, partnership together or a vendor, relationship, just kind of really liked them, and then sort of almost like hoped, like, well, I hope I like the ice cream.
Yeah.
Which when we finally did get around to meeting them in their lab and tasting all the ice creams, it was like, okay, good. This is awesome ice cream as well. Because
did you guys get to go out and see? Have you been out to the?
Yeah. They have a farm, and they are making their ice cream, and they've got a big walk-in freezer and almost like a little test kitchen, test lab. And Jared's kind of a bit of a mad scientist. He's in there trying new things all the time and tweaking things, and so even recipes that he and Briley and his customers like, he's still like doing tweaks. He knows that might be able to get a little bit better, a little bit more flavor here, a little bit more balance there. And I love that. I can definitely appreciate that sort of approach.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, just to wrap that part up is just them. Like, when you're around good people and you can't even necessarily articulate what it is you like about them, that doesn't matter. You just know that you like them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that came through the recording. I think they just seem so genuine and down to earth. And one thing I thought about was, so I've mentioned this book like pretty often lately, but Nuts Nuts is the Southwest Airlines story, and one of their mottos, one of Herb Kelleher's mottos was "Act small," and small actions build big companies. And I thought about them. I thought about when she was talking about starting the business, about, we have complementary skills. I remember specifically her talking about Jared building the first like trailer, or, like their first, just like building it really from the ground up. And it just seems like just that consistent thing over time as producing this bigger thing. I didn't realize it was like this big of a deal until I listened to your conversation. But I also thought it was cool that they look to you and Jessica now through this honeymoon partnership as, I'm going to say, mentors to some degree too.
Well, we're just a little bit further down the road, than them in chronological years, and then maybe also in business years at this point. But
yeah,
I'd say that they also have a lot that they continue to sort of share with us, whether they're realizing it or not. Just again, their energy, their ability to sort of find a way to make things better. I mean, they are kind of relentless in how they are approaching this business, and they're still going to conferences and researching things. Like they're all in, and it's kind of exciting to see from the outside, and now getting a more inside view. And where they go next is anybody's guess, but just with the track record they have so far, I have a lot of hope, and I would bet on them.
Awesome. So this season, this summer season coming up in 2024 is the first season of
first ice
that
cream
you guys
season.
That you guys are partners, right?
Yeah, when we kind of switched over all of our Evansville locations to JB's, it was in November, which is like possibly the absolute worst month of the year if you wanted a big splash, with ice cream. But honestly, if you were to ask Jessica now, or maybe even then, she would say that was probably her preference, just because that was maybe even more chaos than we could handle with all of, the excitement and hubbub of everything going with the West Side and the roastery and moving in and all of that. So we knew that ice cream season would be coming around the corner, and it's almost here. And so what that looks like and how we're able to roll it out is exciting. Is it sort of a new challenge, a new nut to crack? We can stay on your nuts, theme with the Southwest Airlines stuff.
That's right.
And I guess we hope that this, for folks maybe who only know us as a coffee shop, maybe this will be a way for them to understand that there is a whole another side of the honeymoon experience that we're excited to bring this summer.
Heck yeah. And I am going to say this. You guys mentioned, I don't know who it was. I think it was you, honestly, at the end of the podcast. You said something.
Well, we're about to find out when we listen, won't we?
Yeah, that's right. Something about an event or maybe having something to kind of commemorate it or have them out, or I don't know, something to where the community maybe is
yes.
Invited out.
The details on that are to be determined, but we definitely, because that's sort of their bread and butter right now is still the mobile experience. And so the nice thing about that, combining it with one of our brick and mortar, spots in Evansville for ice cream, is we can really kind of max out all their potential flavors. People can see, the excitement from the parking lot as they drive by, and make it even more of a happening. I don't know. Maybe we should get one of the bands from your record label out there. You think that's something we could look at? We'll put you on the spot here.
No, you don't have to put me on the spot, because my gears were already turning when I mentioned the event.
Oh, there we go. All right, it's growing. It's the snowball effect is happening. So yeah,
That's right.
You heard it here. We will have an event coming up soon to kick off ice cream season. We'll have a band or two. Can I push that hard?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
awesome.
I had one other thought or a question for you, because you said you listened to it with Chloe. So I know this is the honeymoon podcast, but there's just a lot of dudes talking right now, at least two of them. So I know Chloe's not with you, but do you remember anything that Chloe was intrigued by or struck by from the conversation last night?
I think the energy of them, the fact that like, I mean, Briley. Well, let me say this: I think being from Southern Indiana, they both sound like people we know, even though we've never met them. I've never met Briley, never met Jared, but they sound like people we know, and they sound like people we want to know, want to meet. Like they just felt like kindred spirits, really, And I think that just speaks to their like humanity, basically. The way that they present themselves is so human. But she did bring that up. Like they just sound cool. Like they sound like cool people, Yeah. So
well, we can vouch for them. We think that they're cool people, and if it's not sooner when we have our event to kick off ice cream season, we'll have you guys meet and connect with each other there.
Great. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, sweet. Well, thanks, Zach, for doing this little intro. And without further ado, this is Zac and Jessica from Honeymoon Coffee talking to Briley and Jared of JB's Barnyard.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So now that we are way on topic
Yes.
of whatever our topic is supposed to be, let's go ahead and officially introduce you guys to the Honeymoon Coffee Company podcast. So we are here with the co-founders, the proprietors of the JB's Barnyard Ice Cream, Jared and Briley.
Damn it. It's a weird name.
Can I get anyone's name right?
No.
JB, Bailey, Briley.
Try it again. You're good.
Her other
try it
name is
again.
Brisket.
Yeah.
We are here with Jared and Brisket,
Or Brydog.
also known as
Brydog.
Briley.
They call me that at the gym. Brydog.
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 So many nicknames. What's your nickname, Jared?
Jer Bear.
Yeah.
Jer Bear and Brydog.
Yeah.
The ice cream scientist. Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that.
So they and their delicious ice cream have been a part of the honeymoon locations in Evansville since fall of 2023. Mm-hmm. And so we are now like not the best time to launch a new ice cream flavor, but now it's March.
Yep.
We're out on the porch. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. The dog will probably be barking at some point. And we are super excited to like get into that ice cream season with you all this year. And so we wanted to have you here, talk about ice cream, talk about your entrepreneurial journey, your relationship, all the things.
Yep.
And as you can probably tell by our voices, we already love each other. We're getting along. Like these are good people, and this should be fun.
Yeah. Well, this warm weather gets me excited because I love the feeling of the warm weather. I love the atmosphere. I love the flowers and everything like that. But it also gets me anxious because I'm like, oh my gosh, ice cream season is here. You know, we have our down. You know, we got quote unquote downtime in winter. But then the second it turns warm, it's just like I don't know what it is. I mean, people just start booking private events left and right. All ice cream sales just go through the roof. So we just know we're like,
Time to buckle
it's here.
up.
Yeah. It's here. Yeah. Giddy up. We're in ice cream season, whether we want it to be or not. So the other day for what was it, daylight savings time, I was like, no. Can we bring that back actually? Because I was kind of enjoying like, it's 5:00 and it's dark. Oh, guess I gotta go inside.
Yeah.
Guess I gotta make dinner.
Guess you gotta stop working.
Now we're back to making dinner at 8:00 at night and going to bed at 9 or 10.
Does that mean that you're working until 7
of
or
course,
so?
Of course. Because I don't know if you guys are the same, but like when it's like daylight, I'm like, that productivity.
Because you're farmers.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
I guess so. It's going to be in our blood that we're just destined to work when it's daylight.
Yeah. We've always been pretty busy bodies though too. Even before we started JB's, we were always working on a project at the house. and like still up so late working on stuff.
Yeah, that was the shift that we made.
Yeah.
We went from now we never work on projects at the house. So like
Same.
all these things that we want to remodel, and
Literally
we're
same.
like, let's open a new location.
Yes. Literally, anytime something goes wrong with our actual house, we're like, it's fine.
We can live with that.
We can live with that. It's fine. Like something needs painted. Nah, it's fine. When we moved into our house, we painted one room and we had ambitions to paint like the whole house. And it lasted. We did one room, and we're done. We're done.
Well,
Focus
at
on the
least you
business.
got the one room done.
Yeah, and it was our bedroom.
Zach scraped the popcorn ceiling in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Was that 2 years ago?
2 years
And
ago.
we've been living with we call it our Parisian ceiling because it's
Like intentionally, like there's just patches of like drywall.
Oh,
And paint.
No, that would kill me. That's the worst. Like any like partially finished, he knows. Partially finished projects. That kills me.
So do you nag each other?
I will remind him.
It's a gentle reminder.
It's a reminder. Hey,
Zach calls
were
it
you
nagging.
just working on this like 5 seconds ago, and now you're working on this? It's a gentle reminder.
We've learned that
Some days it's gentle.
we built an overall to-do list, and it's color-coded and has our names by each thing.
Wow,
Yeah.
impressive.
We
And
do
that's supposed to move on to the
monthly.
next one until you get the one fully complete.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So
some
it
good
sounds like
structure.
you guys are a little more structured.
Yeah, but we're structured because my brain that's the only way that I operate. I'm like I have to see everything. I have to plan out everything. Like we have a winter to-do list and for our downtime in the winter, and we separate it by month, and I cannot move on to what's in April until I finish what is in March because you will, and I do it for him. I do it for him too because he will be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do what's on my list in April," and it's like January. I'm like, "No, focus."
But my projects are like couple day long, like
I
physical
know.
projects. Yours
I know.
are like, I got to change the color on the top of a spreadsheet.
Yes, I know. You're so right.
That takes like 5 minutes.
I know,
I need
and
to
I
change
will
cell B3.
Yes.
No, I'm not joking.
He's
like,
serious.
Last week, she was like, "That's not on your priority list." I was like, "I have to put this water filter in," and she's like, "No, I need to change the color on the top of this Canva document." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." For
Actually,
you.
he's
It'll take
being
5 minutes.
He's being dead serious. That really
I
did
know. I
happen
marked
last
it
week.
off on our to-do list.
I know.
Ching.
So, anyways,
It feels so good
Yeah.
marking it
Well,
off.
like what I'm kind of struck by and want to like double click into is starting like with the relationship side. Like just is there a type of like opposites attract kind of a situation that like tell me about how you guys met. Who wants to tell the story?
you want to
You go ahead.
I don't know. We met at a college party. My friend found him, and she was taken at the time, so I snatched him up and.
Wait.
found
My
him?
friend found him? Was he passed out in the corner?
I was wide awake,
Okay.
He was wide awake. Yeah,
We
yeah.
found his body.
dead on the side of the road.
But we kind of just clicked it off as like instant best friends, honestly, from the very beginning. And then finally he broke my hard outer shell down, and I finally agreed to be his girlfriend, and love story after that. But we've had this bond from day one that we're just really, really, really good friends, and it just worked out to be in a life partner too, kind of thing.
We're out on the river, and I told her I was going to drown her if she didn't finally date me. So.
It was a threat.
Yeah,
It was also a threat. Yeah.
it was also like a foot deep water.
Yeah. So anyways, and so we met at Western Kentucky University. Both went down to school there. I transferred in as a sophomore, so it was our sophomore year that we met. It was actually like one of the first weeks of school that we met. So we met for one of the first weeks of school, and then we're together ever since. And then after college, we actually did long distance for a little while. Okay. He worked for a company that he traveled a little bit. So he was in Nashville, and then he was in Kansas City for a little while, Cincinnati for a period of time. And then once we got married, we actually, his company that he was working for, we kind of told him, hey, listen, we're done with the long distance. Enough heartbreak. I would like cry every weekend that I would have to leave. But so that's kind of the story behind us.
So when did you guys get married then?
2019. I should know that off the top of my head.
Wow.
Yeah,
September 2019.
Yeah, I remember it because we got married and we went on our honeymoon. We went to New Zealand for our honeymoon, and I remember that we just barely missed the deadline of like when COVID started happening.
Like
We
you guys
took
could have been stuck in
yes,
New Zealand. For,
it was
That'd be
we
a
had
bummer, but
yeah, I wouldn't have complained about that. But we took our honeymoon September of 2019, and then obviously kind of like December 2019, January 2020 is kind of when it hit. So yeah, but it was the pandemic that actually kind of inspired us to do JB's Barnyard, the business. We were both kind of stuck inside all the time, and we were working on projects, and then it was like, okay, what else could I do with my busy brain and extra time?
All right, before you go there, because I can tell where we're going to go here, and you're going to keep on going, and I love it. And I'm going to keep going if I don't let Jessica jump in and get a word in edgewise too.
You and I are just going to be talking.
I want to
the
put
entire
Jared
time.
on the spot and talk about the proposal.
Oh, the proposal was awesome. So Briley's sister lives up in Michigan, and she was going up there to spend like a family weekend with them. So her and her dad went up there, and they were up in Petoskey actually at one of their family's houses hanging out. And I had already asked permission from her mom and dad like the week before. It was like I already had the ring. I knew I was going to propose. I just didn't quite know when. And then I was like, wait. I'll ask her brother if he wants to go up there with me. We'll just take a road trip and surprise her and go out on the beach up in Michigan.
And this is
I was
not
like
like a short road trip. This is a 12-hour.
We've driven
been
to
there.
Petoskey.
Yes, okay. We love Petoskey.
We do too.
Yeah.
So literally after I sparked the idea, like a week before your trip, I like called your mom, or I just took her lunch at her work because she's a very busy woman. I took her lunch at her work and asked her back in her office, and she's kind of screamed, and all the other girls that work at her store were like, he asked. And then I asked her dad, and we went and got dinner at Hacienda, one of my favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
And then from there, Alex and I, Briley's brother, we drove up to Petoskey and completely surprised her at the house. And then we were like, hey, let's go out on the beach and check it out. And, it was a joke for a while. There's a thing called a Petoskey stone up there that's like kind of rare to find.
Yeah.
And the very first time we went up to Michigan right after we graduated from college, we walked out on the beach, and she was telling me the myth of the Petoskey stone. And like 5 minutes there, I found one. She was like, dude, no way. I spent my whole life up here.
I spent like my childhood like hunting for these things, and yet he found one within like the first like 5 minutes.
So a couple years after I found the Petoskey stone, I actually put the Petoskey stone in with the wedding ring in the box. And whenever I proposed on the beach, I opened it up, and it was in there.
That's cute.
Yeah.
It was. I thought it kind of just tied it all together because it was kind of special.
Because
to
you
find.
still hadn't found one at this point.
But I had found like 2 in my entire life, and we went like as a family. We would
Hunting
go
for
up
them.
there. Yes, and it was like
That's how you know he's the one.
yes, and he found one right away.
He is worthy.
Yeah, it was very, very unique. It took me completely by surprise. But the reason it took me such by surprise is we also had a trip to Hawaii planned, which did not happen because I was actually planning Hawaii so I could get engaged. And
That's hilarious.
so he did it before, so then I was like, screw Hawaii. We don't need to do Hawaii anymore.
So have you guys gone yet?
We have not.
Okay,
no,
we
'cause
went in, was it 19?
Yeah.
And it was so
No.
nice.
We went in 20. It was
Or
it was
21.
COVID.
21.
Might have been 20. Who knows?
Yeah, September. Yeah,
Gotta
it was
go.
so nice.
So maybe
Yeah.
for the next big.
It's still on our bucket list.
Bucket
Yeah.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth keeping on. Okay, all right. So that was my forced digression. So now, Jessica, you haven't been able to ask a question. So why don't you direct us where you want to go?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so you said you were both working for companies and like just a day job.
Yep.
And then how did you get into ice cream?
So I was working at Mead Johnson Nutrition as a supervisor, and he was working at Sterling Industrial. And so they were both really, really, really good jobs. And but we, again, during COVID, we just had some extra time to kind of reflect on our life. And I actually read a book, and I recommend it to kind of anybody just in a little bit of a rut, like not knowing where they want to go with their life or what the purpose of their life is. And anyways, it's a book by Jordan Lee Dooley, and Own Your Everyday is the book name. And it's basically talking about how like life is a path to walk down, not a box to sit in, a comfortable box to sit in. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm sitting in that comfortable box. And so the book gets you reflecting about what your favorite job of all time was, or even just your favorite, like what are your favorite things to do? And I started reflecting. My favorite job of all time was actually when we met in college down at Western Kentucky University. I worked on a dairy farm. It's called Cheney's Dairy Barn. It's in Bowling. Yep, it's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And so I would actually work down at their dairy farm. I'd milk their cows, and then they actually had an ice cream shop on their farm. And after milking cows, I'd go up to their ice cream shop and I'd scoop ice cream. And so I just kind of started reflecting about like that was just my favorite job. That was when I was the purest and happiest in my heart. And he also loved coming out there because he would come out there and he'd
get ice cream.
Yeah, we always joke. We always joke that I fell in love with the cows and he fell in love with the ice cream. So that's why we ended up doing it. But we started just reflecting. And so we actually went down to Cheney's in December of 2020, I guess it was, and we actually asked Cheney's if they would be interested in potentially either franchising or how we could start essentially a Cheney's up in Evansville, Indiana. And they said, don't franchise, do it yourself. And I'm like, what the heck? We can't do this. There's no way. We don't.
How old are you guys at this time?
Oh, man.
27.
27, 26, 27?
Yeah, 26, 27.
Yeah, 26, 27. So we, it kind of just put the confidence behind us of like, wait a second, yeah, we can do this. And so we started talking logistics with the owners of Cheney's and like how we would even go about doing this and the equipment costs and things like that. And he was like, well, how about this? He's like, you guys buy my ice cream for the first 2 years, however long you need to get your feet out from under you. We will also teach you how to make the ice cream, and then that way you can kind of get your feet out from under you.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, that
was so nice.
Carl Cheney and Deborah Cheney, and the whole team down there, Cheney's, they're the reason. They're a huge reason for our success. They've been awesome. So that was, and then it kind of got into, well, Jared, what do you want out of your life? What do I want? My vision for my life is that I want to go out and I want to feed my cows in the morning, and I want to feed my chickens, and I want to feed my millions of dogs and millions of cats. And, that was my vision. And his vision, was filled with equipment and barns and doing super creative projects with his hands and just being able to utilize the skills, God-given skills that we have been given, because at our desk jobs, we weren't doing that. We were sitting behind a computer for 9, 10 hours a day and not getting utilized.
I feel like that's the best part of owning your own business.
Absolutely.
Like when I quit my office job and it's like you lose the structure that you had there, but then you find ways to create your own.
Yeah.
But like it is so nice to not be tied to like a location and just be sitting there all day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also like double clicking on the fact that they recognized their strengths, and it was like, how do we construct a business that can tap into both of your strengths and to where your strengths continue to be strengthened and they get deeper and more refined. And it's like, if we're practicing these things that we have the energy to do anyway, and can get even better at that, like why wouldn't you set up a situation to where that's the reality?
Yeah, and the only thing I would add to that is like, sometimes when your strength is all you have, like your abilities, your God-given talents is all you have. Like, we were our own investors in the company. We like to say that, but it wasn't like we had all this money sitting around. We had, a little bit of money that we wanted to invest in the business, but it was like, okay, how are we going to make this work with what we have? Yeah. Well, I can talk to people. I can edit videos. You can build an ice cream trailer. You can build, so it's just, we put together what we had at the time.
We used what we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like the beginning of honeymoon. We took out a home equity loan on my house.
Wow,
and
risky.
it wasn't that much. It was like $30,000.
Yeah.
And then we did all of the work ourselves.
Yep.
We picked out the equipment. Zach was good at marketing, so he kind of like teased out our opening, and that was not my strength at all. I was like designing things, and so it was like a similar feeling, and I feel like when you've gone through that together, it really strengthens your bond.
Yeah.
Well, even as a couple, it's so funny. Like, people get married very fast, and we've been together for like 10 years, and we still learn stuff about each other. Like,
So
like,
true.
every month, I'm like, wow, I didn't know she was like that, really great at that. But
Yeah.
it's really neat to
Or that
grow
bad.
together.
Or that bad at that.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Positive speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and like that is something that we did name our company Honeymoon, which is a story of how it ended up landing there. It wasn't what she wanted to name it, but like it does sort of like reflect back to us all the time. Like, we need to sort of remember to invest in our relationship and keep that honeymoon spirit
I
alive
like
way
that.
past the 1 to 2 years of, when the sparks are flying and it's,
Wow.
And so, like, yeah, you guys are in, 10 years or whatever. We're probably coming close to 9-10 years as well. I haven't been married that long, but
Yeah.
it's like, why can't you have that honeymoon spirit throughout your relationship?
Yeah.
And it involves finding out new things about each other and being, and you guys are going to continue to grow. And it's like, you have new strengths and new challenges, and like your roles change. So being able to sort of dance with with the music that's playing in the moment.
I like that.
So, well, so we've got the beginnings of kind of the origin story of the business now, of like your strengths. What are some of those early things to where you're like, oh, we've got this, or oh, maybe we don't got this? Like, what were some of the inflection points, that stick out to you as you think about the journey?
I think one of the best things that has helped our business grow is honestly just the face-to-face communication with all of our customers, like people that come up to the trailer or the van or whatever we have to get ice cream. It's like we can pretty much talk to anybody. So I think just communication, like just having that skill to be able to just talk to people, I think is the number one thing.
Well, and
really,
being
that's helped us.
likable. But
Who says you're likable? Come on.
Hey, you said it earlier. You loved us. Says the guy who said he loved us. Yeah, okay. No, I think he's right.
When people, when you're in contact with people and you're connecting.
Well,
you're connecting with your customers.
Yeah, and just people want to support other just real, genuine, down-to-earth people that we post videos of, like, literally starting, like, when we had, like, a blank trailer and doing all the control. I mean, we're starting from the ground up, and I feel like so many people can relate to that, too.
And you're
followed your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're hard workers, too. It's like that comes across. It's like, okay, their sleeves are rolled up. They're getting in there, and there's a respect that comes from that and, obviously translates into loyal customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other inflection points that you can think of that, like, that you're like, hey, this happened, you're like, oh, we've got something here, this is going to grow?
So literally the first event we ever did. So I don't know if we basically had a number in our head of like, oh, okay, the first year we're open.
We're going to do one event a week.
We're going to do one event a week with the ice cream truck, and we're going to make X number of dollars throughout the entire year. And it was a quick realization that within the first day, we made what we thought we were. It wasn't the day, but
really?
We made within the
Your
first day.
projection was way off.
It was. I was just trying to. I do this a lot where I try not to get my hopes up, and I try because I don't take it very well on like. And I think that's a good but very bad quality as well. Like I need to be pushing myself
I'm
harder.
like a realistic.
Yes.
Because you have low. Sometimes you set low expectations, and I set them like way out of the ballpark. And we can show that too with ordering inventory. I go all
way
out.
big.
Yeah, and I'm like, listen, we're not going to sell 10,000 cups of ice cream next week.
No, we
like,
literally had
You're
this
ready.
yesterday.
No,
we had
But
this
we've
yesterday.
got the cups.
Yeah. So, but I think like even like literally just the first week. So we decided to go mobile with the business for a couple reasons. One, just financial reasons. We kind of ran the numbers on the money that we wanted to invest in the business, and we knew, okay, a storefront is probably too risky. And then it was also at the time when COVID was shutting down businesses. So it was actually his idea. He was like, well, why don't we just take it on wheels, for now. It was almost like our plan B that, again, within that like first couple days, first couple weeks of being in the business, we like quickly realized like, wait a second, this is actually working. Like this is working way better than we thought too.
It was probably a good time to go mobile.
It was 100. And so that's what they say about a lot of businesses with their success is like timing is crucial. Yeah. And so we kind of just quickly realized like, okay, this is actually working. Like we've got a niche here. People, it was during the time again when businesses were shut down or the essential workers that had to be at work, they wanted to treat all of them. Bringing ice cream, bringing an ice cream truck to a business. So again, we just kind of found a niche market, but and
thankfully we did it that way too, because the more that we've learned was like our website's key. Having a POS system that is very easy to update is key versus using, Square versus PayPal versus there's so many options out there. But I think, if we would have just jumped into a storefront and we both still had our full-time jobs, it would have been a lot.
It would have been a lot. Yeah,
because you guys grew really fast.
Yeah.
I just remember it was like I had heard of you, and then all of a sudden you were everywhere.
Yeah. People tell us that, and especially the past year since we've started making our own ice cream.
That's right.
That is where it has just scattered.
Which it sort of feels the same way because we started roasting our own beans like a year ago, and it kind of felt that way as well.
Yeah.
So have you guys had a big failure yet?
Oh my gosh.
I'd say the main big one that I did was in making ice cream last year. Whenever you make ice cream, you have to make your batches, so you have to do like all your flavors and orders of sterilization, and when you have to clean all your utensils. And this wasn't really a bad one, but I was making bananas for banana, and it was like 4 p.m. I was starving. I hadn't eaten all day. Briley came walking in with Los Bravos, and I was like, I was dying. She came in with food and started talking to me, and I was putting all the ingredients in the machine, and I was like, I was so hungry, and we started talking, and I think some of the other girls were working there too, making pints and stuff, and all of a sudden, the ice cream's going in the machine, and I turn around, and I'm like, that's a lot of bananas left over. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't put them in the machine. Yes. And it's like 20 bananas.
Yeah, we've had a couple batches where we've had to kind of toss them or give to friends for like, hey, here's some non-banana ice cream.
Though.
Yeah. No, we haven't.
That's like a major failure.
Yeah,
It felt like one.
Yeah, at the time. You know what? That brings up a good point. Every failure that we have faced has felt like the end of the freaking world in the moment. Like in the moment of
not
throwing
the bananas.
throwing away that
you told
batch.
Me the story of your first wholesale client customer.
Oh man.
When you guys didn't thaw the ice cream in time.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Because I still get anxiety when I think about that story.
Yeah. Our freezer is set to negative 15 degrees, and so when we pull it out of our freezer, out of our walk-in, you can't scoop it. It's rock hard. And we delivered it to a client that was planning on having an grand opening that day. They were super excited, and they had customers lined up out the door. And the ice cream was so hard they couldn't scoop it.
They didn't have the grip strength?
They need to do CrossFit.
So I'm telling you, whenever we dropped off the ice cream, we actually stayed and I scooped ice cream, about snapped both of my wrists.
Yeah.
Luckily they had
them.
heaters there for the scoops, but those poor girls, I think they would have killed us.
So we
scooped ice cream for a couple
But I
hours.
think just like that, just like every failure that we have faced, I mean, there's some financial failures that I could, think of that it's just like, oh my gosh, how are we so dumb? Why did we do this? Why did we buy this? Why did we not buy this? That kind of thing. And it's like, you think it, I swear in the moment, I'm the one that of the business that doom and gloom. It's the end of the world. This is it.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, this is we are done for. This is the end of the business.
We'll never financially recover from this.
We'll never financially recover, and then we end up, And so I think a lot of times there's been moments where, okay, this has happened. I need to go to sleep and wake up the next morning and then thoroughly think about how I want to
move forward.
Keep
walking. What was the phrase you used? Is like you can be in a box or you can
a path to walk down or a comfortable box.
It's crazy how much
Yeah.
better you feel the next morning.
I have to do that all the
Yeah.
time. Because once I get in that headspace,
There's no getting out.
I would love to say that I'm
spiral.
the type of person that I can just bounce right back. You know, they say that only be mad for give yourself 5 minutes. Yeah, that's a
Go scream in the walk-in freezer.
yeah.
And walk back out.
Yeah,
You'll be all right.
yeah. So I'm the type that I need to like. Okay, this happened. I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to restart the next day.
Remember the day our generator fried? Like second month of business.
Why are you bringing up all these traumatic?
She's gonna spiral the rest of the night.
I am. I'm
Go
just.
to bed early. I can watch a movie and it'll be great.
There's
Saboteur.
I just think in the moment I freak, but then now thinking back, I'm like, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal. But I will say, and as far as like major failures, to be completely honest, we have been very blessed. Is this wood?
It's not,
can I knock
but
on wood?
There's some over there.
There you go.
Got some for ya.
We have been very blessed that we have not had many major failures where like the business is truly going to
Sure.
go under.
Something catastrophic.
Yes. And I hope that like the little baby failures that we are experiencing are preparing us for the big one, because it's going to, something's going to happen, you know, and I'm just hoping that when the time comes, that we can bounce back, we can recover, we can handle it well, and move forward then the next day after I get my 8 hours of sleep.
Or 10.
That's
Or
awesome.
10.
As we kind of wrap up a little bit, let's talk about two things. Let's talk about employees, like how you guys maybe hired your first employees, or like how you have gone from just the two of you to like now leading a team, and sort of what you're hoping for with the honeymoon partnership as we move into ice cream season. So let's take it there.
I'll talk about employees if you want to talk about the honeymoon partnership. Because their first employee, she was actually a customer of ours, and she has like a Wright shirt on, and I look down at her, and she's getting ice cream with her family. I'm like, how old are you? And I'm like, wait a second. I'm sorry. That came off creepy.
That's a legal question.
That came off creepy.
This is not an interview.
I just wanted to make sure you're not like 10. And she was like, I'm 16. I go, can you drive? And she goes, yes. I go, you're hired. She goes, for what? I was like, can you please come scoop ice cream with us like tomorrow? It was to the point, I think that was with the first year we did it basically all by ourselves. We had a few kind of pickup people that kind of helped us. My mom helped us, bless her heart. Our parents helped us. And then finally, but I think the thing is that we have always said, and I don't know what you guys are kind of looking for employees, but we're always looking for employees that are honestly super active in a million other things. So we're looking for employees that are in softball, are in dance, are in student council, are in a million other activities that they really don't have time for a job, but they're committed, and that to me that means that they're a really good kid.
Yeah.
And then also like even spinning from like not only just like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, college kids, we actually now have started where we're hiring a lot of like stay-at-home moms who they can't commit to
like a job,
40 hours a week,
events.
but they can commit to, hey, I can commit to you every Tuesday, or I can commit every Wednesday. And even like retirees, we've got a couple of retirees that work with us where it's like, and like teachers in the summer, teachers get the summers off and they work for us.
And
so
that's for your peak season.
yeah.
So
yeah.
how many employees do you have in the summer?
About 12.
12? Yeah. Right now, yeah, about 12. We might be hiring, 3 more this year.
more.
Nice.
But 12 during peak season.
Yeah.
Right now, on payroll, probably about 6. So we kind of drastically reduce it in summertime. But wintertime. Speak about the relationship with Honeymoon. How awesome they are.
Hint, hint.
No, we're super excited to be doing business with you guys. All your stores look great, and the quality of the ice cream and all the advertisement and all the stores looks fantastic, because we went to all of them, of course, and gotten coffee. Yeah.
And the brand matches. I think that's the thing that we have carefully curated is we want other companies that represent our company well, because we don't have an actual storefront.
Yeah.
We have our trucks that go out, and we do a lot on social media, but we need something that if you're going to hold our brand, that they represent the brand well. And you guys blow that out of the water. And people know your name too. So I think that's also important for us as we are still building our business. We need a business that already has an established relationship and a good relationship with all their customers and the community that they can kind of spread a really good word for us too. So thank you.
Well, it's been really neat so far. Like I said, it feels like we're still at the very beginning of it because the time of year, like you going into your slow season, is when we sort of made this move. And I think if I remember back to when you all had reached out and said like, "Hey, would you be open to a conversation?" Jessica and I kind of sat with each other and was like, well, we're not really interested in change. Like, she hates change. Like, Jessica does not do well with change.
We broke her.
But she was like, okay, we can have a conversation. And then, like, getting to meet you all and sort of see the same thing that you talked about your customers see with you. It's like, all right, these people are really into it. They do have, like, a high ethical and hardworking sort of bar that you guys hold each other to. We felt a lot of sort of the... hey, they're like us, but, younger with more energy.
More energy.
It was like we often will sort of like feel things like in our bodies or in our souls, like, should we move forward in this? And we kind of both said like,
full body yes.
Full body yes. Let's move forward to these people and figure it out. And so...
That's our. That's how we make decisions.
Yeah,
I love that.
Anymore, we're learning. Anytime we have gone against our gut, we have regretted it.
Yeah.
We have regretted it. So we're going to take that advice and we're going to run with it too. Like if it feels right, if it feels like the right thing to do, if it feels like this is the right decision in the right direction.
It's not all like projections and.
Oh my gosh, I know.
In brain power, it's like. Sometimes you just connect with someone in a way that you're like, I know this feels right.
Yep.
A 99% yes is 100% no.
I like that, yeah.
What? I didn't get that. Hold on, wait, back up. 90% yes.
Is 100% no. It's got to be a full body yes.
Okay.
1%.
You've got to be all in like this. I'm clicking. We're in. We're gonna go for it.
I like that.
Like making pistachio ice cream. That's about a 1% yes.
I'm still pushing for it.
Hey, I'm all about pistachio ice cream
Have
as
you
well.
tried the pistachio cold brew?
No.
It's so good. You need to do pistachio.
All right, we're going to wear you down. We're going to wear you down.
That's the plug for it.
Yes, we got to do it in the spring so we can pair it with our drink.
There we go. Dang it.
All right. Well, we are excited for customers to be experiencing that. Maybe we'll do some events, so stay tuned to social media about what that is going to look like. And we are very happy to be the sort of brick and mortar home of JB's in Evansville, and hopefully we have a long future of mutual success together.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys have been great business partners and business. I know I've reached out to you for business advice, so we appreciate that. We look forward to this relationship and friendship, honestly, for hopefully many years to come.
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. See ya.
See ya.
Well, that's it. Thank you for listening to the show this week. The Honeymoon Coffee Company podcast is produced in partnership with the Nectar Podcast Network, with music by Sam Cuban and podcast production by me, Wesley Luttrell. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back again soon.